Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'll be going over two stocks on my top watch this week. So the first stock is BA, the second stock is AMD. Let's not waste any time, let's get into it. Boeing has a nice setup. I really like this setup. And before actually going to the setup, let's actually give a quick context about BA and the price action, what the price action has been doing. So quickly I want to go to the weekly time frame and I want to show you guys something. So if we look at BA, all right, in the past 2 months, BA only had one red week. So after this red week, BA had a nice run to the upside, all right? So pretty much had 6 green weeks in a row, all right? Until this week right here, I had a small red week, and then we have another green week. So really strong momentum, really strong buying pressure that we see in BA. So I love to see that. And when I see something like that, I want to actually capitalize on that. So at some point, BA either gonna actually have a nice continuation or will end up actually have a pullback before actually go higher. So definitely watching this setup is pretty much important. So this weekly time frame show me that okay, there's all buying pressure on BA. And not only that, last week we had some bullish news on BA. So if I go here on my news flow right now, BA here, you can see here we had way more news on BA. So BA, for example, you can see the CEO mentioned about how he want to crank up the 737 mass production, which is one of the best products. So they want to actually produce way more. So I think here we can actually see how they boost the production to 47 per month around late this year. So definitely really bullish in general. Not only we saw the price action for the past 2 months, it actually have a lot of bullish stuff, and now we have more bullish news, right? So it's not because we have a bullish news that means we need actually buy right away. So this right here can actually, what I call it, pay more attention to BA in a sense of, okay, we already have a bullish price action, and now we have some news of what I call the narrative to the stock, alright? So we're gonna have some narrative in that stock. Okay, and the narrative is actually pointing to the upside, so which is good. Alright, so now we need to actually have a confirmation in the price action for us to actually take a trade that they can go along the narrative. But it's not because we have a bullish news that we're gonna go and just buy. We don't do that. Alright, we need to actually have a trading decision in the price action. So quickly, I'm gonna go back in the price action BA here. All right. So when I go on BA, so I want to actually go to the 4 hour, talk about the specific level I'm watching. So if you look at BA, you'll see for a good while the 190 was a good resistance. We actually trading below that level for a good while, and recently we actually broke that level and actually go and hit the 200 target, and even went way higher than that, which is again show the bullishness on BA I was talking about. And one of the key levels that we actually end up rejecting was the 210 level. All right, so this level pretty much had a nice resistance, so it's also one of the key levels I'm watching to the upside. All right, and the game plan is pretty much simple. I'm definitely watching for a more higher move on BA, so pretty much looking for more bullish opportunity. All right, because we have a narrative, we have the momentum to the upside, everything. So I want to be part of that move or that direction. I want to trade the trend, and to be able to do that, I need to actually find a good entry. All right. So for me to actually trade the trend, I'm only gonna enter 2 different scenario in a sense. All right. So one thing is for sure, BA has a nice bullish pressure, and also the whole direction, the win of the market as well. So if the market is pretty bullish, that also will make BA a good candidate to play the upside, unless we have other news that come and just change the whole narrative of BA. So definitely be watching for more move to the upside, and I'm watching for a break of the 210, or if we can actually break the 210 and actually have a nice retest, I'm definitely gonna be looking for more move to the upside. For good after the 210, we can actually go for 220 to 230, depending on the volatility of the week in general. So but if the market is weak, right, so right now we are at 207. If the market is weak, we can definitely go back at the 200 level, which I'm gonna be looking for a nice bounce entry opportunity if the buy can actually show up, or you can see that level already establish itself as a nice support. All right, so already bounce here, bounce here, bounce here, so a nice support. So if we come here, I'm gonna be watching to see if that level will still be a nice support. If not, then I'm definitely gonna be riding the move down. I'm gonna turn my sentiment will probably change from bullish, all right, to bearish. And that's like if we lose the 200 or cycle level that I have here, and if we lose that, then we're gonna go back for the previous resistance, the 190. So I'm gonna try to actually catch the move down to the 190. catch some of that move. That's gonna be the main target right here. And definitely watching for my two buying spot for sure is around the 200 and and also if you can clear the 210. All right, and maybe I will play the rejection if I see some weakness here. All right, so if you're trying to break the 210 and I feel like, okay, the sellers coming really heavy, because if we have to keep in mind, so you can see that red rectangle right here. So this is my selling zone. So we're pretty much inside a supply. So inside supply, we can actually have more sellers be active. So the 210 definitely watch it for a nice resistance. If I feel like it's kind of weak, I can still catch a move from a rejection from 210 to 200. It's still a 10-point move that I can catch it on side, and that would be me trading against the trend. We will make the trading more risky. The less risky option is to actually trade the trend and pretty much looking for a bullish opportunity, which also that's my main goal. But if I need to actually change my game plan, I'm gonna have to change my game plan to actually be able to take advantage of the move. And as a trader, you need to be flexible. So that's one of the main stock I'm watching, and that's like the price action of the year. So the second name I'll watch is pretty much AMD. Right, I'm definitely watching this for next week. And if you look at AMD, just a quick context, we have pretty much have a nice sell-off at this level. Since then, the price was able to actually recover pretty nice and coming back, even making new high compared to that high where it was rejected. So definitely show a nice buying pressure on AMD. You can see how the price pretty much like kept making higher highs, and making higher lows, and higher lows right here. Right. However, we had something really significant to actually pay attention to. So if you look at this price action, I have my trend line, and that trend line was actually like a nice support, one support right here, and a support right here. And guess what? Last week on Friday, we actually lost that trend line, and I'm on the 4-hour. It's already meaningful to lose the trend line on the 4-hour. So definitely watching for that. So even though the whole price action is bullish, then that bearish breakout is something to actually pay attention to. All right, and how do I look at the price action now that we actually lost that trend line? So there's one key level I'm watching, right, to see if I want to actually be really bearish on AMD. So I'm definitely watching for the 107 level. All right, so this right here, the first level we actually need to hold, right, to actually not make a big deal on the bearish side. We still need to be above 110. All right, if you can hear be over 110, then we don't have to worry about the 17. All right, good thing is we're able to close above the 110, which is good. All right, which is good. We still have room to go all the way down to the 107. That means we can actually lose another 3 points to the downside. All right, before me looking to actually buy the dip, all right, I'm gonna be looking for a deep opportunity around the 107. All right, that's gonna be where I'll be looking for a possible entry for a bounce. All right, but this right here, if you lose the 110, we can definitely go down to the 107. So I'm watching for that. And if you come to the 107, I want to see a bounce. If I don't see a bounce, then we can actually go back all the way down to that sneaky demand and definitely retest the 100 psych level. All right, so definitely have room to go to the 100 if you lose the 107. So altogether from the 110 to 100, that's about a 10-point move. And by going there, we're definitely gonna actually to clear the 107, the most immediate level we can lose the 110, which is not gonna be difficult to actually lose that level if the market is weak. I definitely go straight all the way down to the 107, and if we lose that, then we're gonna go for a gap, because we have a gap fill, we have a gap at that level, or we can actually go for a gap fill, and if the momentum is really nice, you can actually go for the 100, and actually after that, there might be a nice bounce buy level to actually watch as well. Then if you come near the gap fill, there's a good thing you can actually have a nice big candle to go straight for the 100 level and retest that level to see if it's still strong. All right, so definitely watching for that 107, and if you can actually hold the 107, that's gonna be a nice bounce spot. And actually it's all about just holding that level and going back to the 110 to clear the 110 and go to the 115. All right, so that's the key level I'm watching for sure. So I'm gonna make this short and sweet. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm gonna be dropping so much stuff here. So if you really want to level up as a trader, make sure to actually subscribe to the channel. And thank you for watching the video. Let me know what you think in the comment, and let me know your top watch as well in the comment.